Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Week 1 DES Graphic Design 1 mini session. My name is Ladale Whaley, your instructor. For this mini session, I am going to demonstrate the steps you need to make in order to successfully complete your assignment for the week. So, to begin, let's go ahead and go to the website, to the portal, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the assignment for the week. Now, once you're into the assignment, you read the background information here. And essentially, this is talking about how history plays a big part of the visual inspiration for our work. It is what we relate to when it comes to creating material when we want to reference things from the past. In your discussion for the week, you discussed the making the poster for the punk band and how you would go through the process of researching that topic in order to make a poster that would be appropriate for your students. For your band. So for this assignment, we're going to go ahead and scroll down. You are making flashcards. It is double-sided flashcards, and you're going to make 3 of them. So you need a set of 6 pages in your document. So before we begin, you want to go ahead and open up the document that is linked in the page, and here you will find your choices. And I'm going to go ahead and make these a little larger so we can see them. So here are our choices for the various eras that we're going to use. You have a choice between Victorian, arts and crafts, Art Nouveau, Art Deco, heroic realism, early modern, Swiss international, psychedelic, postmodern, and grunge. For this demonstration, I'm going to choose early modern. Let's try psychedelic, and let's see what we can do for postmodern. So we have early modern, psychedelic, and postmodern. Now, in order to begin the process, we must first go through and do some research. The project that you will be making is a 6-page InDesign document that is 3x7 and in portrait or landscape orientation. That is completely up to you. On the first side, we will need this information here: the name of the era, the dates, a picture that is associated with it, the author, the title of the picture, and the author of the picture. And then we want to have, in about 50 words, a summary of its elements. And then we want the contemporary design application for it. On the back of it, we want to have the color scheme that represents the era, and citations used when we are researching. Okay, so we are going to start with early modern. So let's go do some research here. So we have early modern. You can see that there is a Wikipedia. That is a good place to start if you want to. But also remember, if we go back to the document, that there were some websites that we can use as well. Let's go grab that again, because it's not opening the browser I want. All right. So did we miss early modern? There's early modern. So the time period and all that information is in here. If we scroll down, the best way to look at it sometimes is just by looking at some of the things that might be associated with it to help you find anything that might be interesting. Now, I'm not finding anything here that I particularly like. However, we are seeing some dates. So we're seeing about the 1400s to about the 1648. So let's go back here. Let's see, early modern design era. Sometimes it's about the keywords that you use. So here we have the 1900s to the 1935. So a great way to get started with this is, let's go ahead and skip over to InDesign really quick. As we're getting the information, we can at least begin to put the information in. And so you want to go and create a new document. You want to make sure that you have the correct name. If you're not sure, go back to the prompt, and down here at the bottom you see that it should be DES109 underscore assignment 1 underscore your first name last name. So we can do that here, DES109 underscore assignment underscore first and last name, inches, and we want this to be 7 by 5, and I did it landscape. We want 6 pages, and the margins can stay the same here. We don't need too much of a margin, and that's all we need. So we can go ahead and push create. And so let's go ahead and at least put the information we know in. So this is the early modern, and let's see here. We know that the dates are approximately 1910 to 1935. So we can go ahead and make that in here. And for right now, I'm not formatting. I'm just putting in the dates or the information. I will go back and put more in later. So we said 1910 to 1935. So we need an image. The best thing to do is go back here, and we see some images here. These are early modern style graphics. Let's go to modern style graphics. So here we go, some more images to choose from. Oh. Kind of liking some of this here. Let's look at this. So the Baja, this was 1910. So this falls in that era. So let's go with this image now. Just need to find the image. Guess that's not gonna work because we need the actual image. So let's go back here. Let's try this one. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is not something. Sometimes it takes you got to type in various keywords in order to find what you're really looking for. This looks like it might be a really good one. But the image is not there. Here's one. So we're going to just save this image. And I'll save it to my downloads. And this is let's see. Actually, that falls on the Art Deco. Wrong era. Let's go back. So you have to be careful because sometimes they get put into different eras that they don't need to be in. Let me see something here. If we go back to the Library of Congress digital, let's see. Let me see something here. This one's much harder than I thought it would be. But sometimes you may run into that. You have to just keep doing some research. So let's look up early modern design. We go through images. Let me try this one more time. Let's see, early modern. Let's see. Now I found this, so let's just find one that we like. Sometimes you have to click several times to get what you want. But once you find it, you can use that. Looks like somebody took pictures of a book. That's not going to help us. So let's go back here. Let's see if this one. We'll find something. Let's see if we find something by doing that keyword. We're getting some of the same words. Let's try this. All right, we're gonna go with this image here. So we'll download this, and this is a CD cover. So this is not from the era. Okay, let's try one more time here. If you don't, first you don't succeed, you try, and you try, and you try again. You know what? This is what we do. Emmerich. Try something. All right, let's see what we have here. This doesn't have a name on it, but this could be something possible. Let's go back here. Let's try this here. I've seen this one several times. I'm gonna use this one. Okay. So it's a 1929 poster named Brooks, Please. Cool. So we have this information now. So we need to go back to InDesign before we lose it. And we're going to copy this here, put the information here. And we know it is by this person here. So we'll put that here. And we also need to do something for key elements. And you also need something for contemporary uses or applications. Okay, so now that we have that in there, we need to place the image. So we go ahead and do a file, place, or Command D, and you need to find that image that you're using. Here it is. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit just to see what I have here. All right, so I immediately look at this and I think I want to do go ahead and do a orientation change. So I'm going to go and do a setup, and I'm going to change it to landscape here. So now we just need to go ahead and change the orientation here, and I'm going to fit my content into the frame. That's done by going to fitting, and we're going to fit content to frame. Now we want to make sure that all our information is here as we need it. So I'm going to zoom in and let's get this together first. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the sizing of this a little bit. I am one that likes to crop images a little bit, so I am going to go ahead and play with this a little bit. And we don't need the entire image, just a good piece of the image. So we'll do this just to give an example of what we would see. All right, so now I need the name and I need some dates here. So we're going to put that up here for right now. And I'm just placing images or things as I am trying to get them on the page. I will go back and fix them later. Now, because I want to make something else different here, I'm going to go ahead and change this here. And one more here. All right, so now we just have to go in and add the information that is necessary for the page, and that's here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make this represent what we see. And what do I mean like that? You're going to have to change the font so that it represents something more similar to what you have. So I'm going to try this text here, and this is the title of it. So you want that to stand out more than anything. And I want this to be the text of it. So I'm going to change the color of the text. Actually, there we go. And I want my text to follow that. So I'm going to do that here. And I'm going to make this slightly larger, not as large, but it will go right along with this. And if you want things to know if things are on the same page, you bring down that guide and set it along the guide. And there we go. Now I want this text to be this color here. So there, that represents that color. Now, I just have to go in and adjust the rest of the text. So we'll go in And I like the text that we've been using, and that text also offers some variations, so that is also very nice. I'm going to keep it black for this. We'll go ahead and change this to be, actually going to change to go to my second, one of my second favorite texts. Here we go. I want it to be a little bit thinner, so we'll do that. Change this text here, and we'll make that medium. All right, so we got to bring this font size down some so that it fits. I always put my leading as the same, just because we want to make sure that it fits. All right, so there we go. Now we just need to adjust the size here. We'll go down just a little bit smaller, and I'm going to do oblique on that one. All right, so this is what we have so far. If you want to take a look at what you have, just go to your preview mode, and this is what you have. Be mindful that your text does not touch the edge. Your pictures are okay to touch the edge, but you don't want your images to be too far or too close to the edge of the page. That if this was something that would be cropped or cut by a printer, it would cause some issues when it comes to printing. So you want to be sure to keep your information as far away from the edge as possible. So to make this stand out, I am actually going to go ahead and change the color of the text to be this red color, and now that stands out as well. All right, so the next thing we need to do is change our text here, and I'm going to go ahead and go with the size of there we go. And let's go ahead and change this, and we're going to go ahead and go to that size. Let's change the color so that it all matches, and let's go get out of preview mode, our normal mode, so we can see things. Now this is almost done. What I would do is maybe add a couple elements that go along with what we see here, and I want this to change the color, so I'm going to give it that color, and I'm going to send that to the back. Arrange, send to back. So now my text is there, and actually I believe that this would probably be smaller because it's probably less information. Now I'm not going to put in the key elements because I want you to do that. However, I will add some filler placement text just so you get the feeling of what it would look like. And so I would change this to be a different font, maybe book, so that now you can see what it may look like here. And the final thing would be to possibly duplicate this section here, put it down to the bottom, and let's go ahead and there we go. I'm going to change this color once again to be something that is a little more let's see, something different. Let's see. There we go. And just to keep this kind of similar to what we have up front, we'll do that. And finally, We need to add filler text here, replacement, there we go, and some different, there we go. And that is the first page of our layout. When you get done, it should represent the era in the best way you can interpret it as a designer. Now, the next thing you do is you go ahead and you create a color scheme that demonstrates what you see or the era that you've come up with. So to do that, what I would do is come here and possibly do a shape like this. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the color here. Let's see, that's not working here. So let's go over to our swatches here because it should be in our swatches. There we go. All right, so we got our red. Now we need some browns, and one way to do that is let's just go ahead and copy this here, paste this. We could do this. We can do something like this here. And let's just duplicate this here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this color and drop it down here. Now, the only other thing I need to do is do my references. So what I would do is go here and actually I'm going to make it easier, and I'm just going to duplicate the text up here, change the formatting, and this is references. The color of the text needs to be, let's see, text. All right, the color of the text is here. There we go. And we want this to be a little larger. So go ahead and take this up just a little bit. There we go. And then your references would fall under here, and you would list them, and you want to have a reference for everything that you use. So the websites, the pictures, whatever you pull, that's what you want to do for your design. And that's the first card. So once you're done with that, my suggestion is to go to that layer, lock it, and we're going to name that Early Modern. Push OK. Now, the rest should be fairly easy because now we know what we need to do. So we're going to go back. Our next one is Psychedelic. So let's scroll down and find Psychedelic. It is the 60s. So we first want to go to InDesign. We know that it is Psychedelic. We know that it is the 1960s. We need an image, or an image. We need the creator. We need the elements, key elements. And we also need the contemporary applications. All right. So before we go any further, let's go find us an image. So let's psychedelic design era. This is much easier than the other one. However, we find an image that you like the most, and we go from there. Let's go with this one here. This is a popular one for everybody. Let's try this right here. I think this is a good one. So let's click into it and see if we can find something. All right. So all right, so let's find that one didn't have a person to it. Let's try this. This looks interesting. Let's see what this one is. This one isn't as easy as we thought. Here we go. The psychedelic era. I like this one. Let's go with this one. All right, so we have this image. We know that our designer is Wes Wilson. And this one is it doesn't have a name to it, but it looks like a Billy Graham poster possibly. So we'll just use that as our thing. So we know that it's a poster design by Wes Wilson. All right, so key elements, Wes Wilson. Let's go for it. So the first thing we need to do is paste our poster in. So let's go to File, Place, Command D, and we're going to place our poster. There it is. And this one is definitely unique because we want to make sure that we put it in a way that works. So let's look at this. I think I want to go with something along this way. Let's try this. And I'm not going to do the whole poster again just because you only need to see a piece of it to get it. So fit content to frame first, and then I'll say a piece of it here. There we go. So you get a good gist of what it is. And now I'm just going to adjust And we'll do this. This can come over here. This can come over here. And once you get everything in there, then you can, of course, work with your placement again. But most of all, you want to make sure that you get everything in as you need it. So the first thing you're going to do is get everything in. You're probably going to need more space here and less over here because this one is not as much. Better yet, let's make it even better. Let's turn them. All right. There we go. So now that gives us more space to work with over here. So pull this here and here. So the first things first, let's go ahead and change the title. Try to get as psychedelic as possible. Not positive I can find that, but we shall see what I have here. Not quite used to psychedelic images, however. Let's try to find more. Let's try this as and if you can't find a font, you can always go to your Adobe fonts and browse your fonts to see if you come up with something else. This is a great way to find fonts if you don't already have them. I would suggest decorative fonts for this because you want to make sure you can see exactly what you are looking at. So here we go. This is what I was looking for. All right, so now that I've activated it here, just go back to InDesign, and now I should be able to go in and I think it was, there it is. And I want this to be fairly large because this is the title once again. So I am going to make sure that it is fairly large actually, because let's try something here. I want it to bring to the front. Bring to the front. There we go. We'll get that together in just a moment. All right, so the 1960s, I want to keep this with actually the other font that I used previously for text, just because you want it to be clean. You don't want your text to be hard to read, so we'll leave that here. And I'm going to put this right in here. And so the next thing are my key elements. I want those to be like my heading, but I want them to come up a little more as well. So we will do that. All right, so we have this contemporary applications, and because this is 2 lines, we want to make sure that the 2 lines are close together. And so to do that, what I do is I just keep it the same or close to the same, and it's gonna be this page here that I keep them fairly close together. So your leading is going to be less than the actual size of the font. And then this can be the font that is easier to read, and so will the next one. Just to make that much easier for your viewer to read. Keep in mind that you want to make sure that the fonts flow fairly easy. So we want to fill this with filler text, and we want to make sure that everyone can read it easily. And then the same thing here. We'll copy this and place the text here. There we go. All right, so now we have things placed. So now it's time to adjust with the colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is select this color here, or the title, and I think I want this color to be, let's try no, that's not the color we want. Let's try, there we go. Now to make this stand out, what I'll do is I'm going to duplicate it. The back one, I'm going to change that color to the actual blue. So that way I keep it so it stands out a little bit and create that drop shadow. All right, and so next we have our key elements. I'll make that color the green. Oh, I thought I made it the green. There we go. And then the same thing with the contemporary. I'll make that blue. And I will keep all text the same for everything else. Now I want them to be aligned on the baseline. So I am going to adjust the time, or the dates, so it matches here. Bring this down some, pull this up so that matches. We may need to bring this in some, bring this out. There we go. And this comes down here. And this may come down here because you probably have more with that as well. If it does not work line on the baseline, then I would say align it to the top, or you, of course, you'd have your own version of this, but essentially this is what you would need in order to fill it in. So we'll do it there. And if we go back and look at our preview, we have our psychedelic. All right, so let's go ahead and move down to the bottom here where we would create our color scheme. Now the color scheme for this I would be maybe not so, let's just pull some colors in real quick. So the first color, I would want it to be, let's see, possibly orange. So go and drop that there. Possibly go ahead and make this match here. And these are psychedelic colors, right? So we want to make sure that it flows. So do something like this. And we want the next color to be maybe blue, or and go ahead and do another color. First, let's adjust this one to where we want it. And go back up here. Let's grab one more color and drop it down on the last one. And then we could just make one more section if we wanted to, and that could be the white section. And then the final thing is to do our references. And so I would just go ahead and make a new text box at this point, because I don't want my text to be inside of so we'll go ahead . Okay, so for the references, you want to make sure you keep your titles consistent. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it just a little larger. And then my text will be the other font. And I'm going to bring that down and just fill it in with some filler text for right now, so that it remains consistent. All right, so that is number 2. All right, so the final one, Let's go for it. This one shouldn't take us long at all. The final one I chose was early modern, I think. No, it was postmodern. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the internet and let's type in postmodern design era. Images, let's just look for something. Let's see. I'm going to type in graphic because there we go. Let's go here to postmodern. Yeah. Like those right there. And these were the 70s to 80s. All right, so got some ideas. I really like one of these, but I have to find it by itself. Let's go with this. I like this. And this is by this is somebody's work. We don't want that. I want an actual. Here we go. Just find the one that you want. Oh, somebody's website. We don't want that. Oh, we can use Polisher. So we know this is Paula. All right, so let's go to, and we're doing, first let's add in the text. This is postmodern. This is the 1980s. We know the designer is Paula, so let's go back. It's Paula. Share. And I'm not positive of the name of this poster, but we're going to figure it out. We'll just look her up. We just need one of our images, not a bunch of them. All right, so here we go. This one will work. Save image. All right, so, oh, we didn't get the name of that poster. Let's see. This is bring the noise, bring the funk, add. So we go back. And now we need to do key elements. Elements. We're just going to place filler text here. And place this here. Place this here. And do contemporary applications. There we go. So now we just need to do our fonts, and this is very big and bulky, so I want to do this. Well, that font doesn't like. Let's try the Oswald. There we go. The Oswald will work. So now I want to make this big. I'm actually going to make this just as big in a way. But I am going to take this, move this here, take this, make sure I adjust the, and I'm going to adjust it here. I forgot to put this on a whole nother layer. Bring this down. Bring this here. Let's go with this being about the same size as this. I think I want to put this on this side though. And we'll change this to be on this side with bring this up. Ideally, you want to put this on its own layer. I forgot to do that, so Technically, all I'd really have to do is just select it all, and I'll do it here, lock this layer, create a new layer, and do it here. There we go. So now it's on its own layer, just to make it a little easier. And I'm going to bring this down to 14. Move this here. Here, I would need to bring this text down so that it matches and it's not too large. So that would be here possibly. This is definitely going to be much longer or larger, so I would bring that down. And this would come over here. And I would bring this actually down to be smaller. Do her name a little larger just because. I want it to stand out a little bit. All right, so last thing to do is place the image here. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. So we now just need to fix the elements. I'm going to bring this down some more to 14 like the other one. Bring this up here. I am actually going to bring the image down a little more for this one. It's not going to be as large as the other ones. So I'm going to fit it here. Fit content, fitting. Fit content to frame. There we go. So now we'll bring this up here. And I'm going to do something different and do a text wrap so that the image isn't just left dangling out there. Or so we do that here. And now you can have as much as you want around it. If you want to adjust this, you just need to go into your properties of it and make sure that you give it as much space as you want around the image. So we want the top to be, or actually it's the side. There we go. We want to just make sure there we go. So there you go when it comes to filling in the images. So now all we need to do is change some colors. So let's go ahead and change this black here. We'll do that red. And for interest, let's do a line here. That line needs to be black, and we want it to stand out. Let's do another line up here. We want it to be black, and we want it to stand out. We'll change her name to Red just because we want to incorporate that. And I think we have it there. So the last thing to do is go ahead and do your color scheme. And we want the colors to, of course, be what we used. So grab this yellow. And drop that down. Do another color. And that's red, so we'll leave that. And one more color is black. All right, so one more time, we look at this real quick to see if that's what we want. Looks like that's what we want. So the last thing to do is add the preferences, or references, not preferences. So to do that, I want to incorporate one more color, and that would be the color of the gray. I'm going to drop that here, and now it's time to do the text. So I'm just going to create a text box right here. References. Pull in my title. Make that to about 18. And then drop down. I used my regular text for that, and do some placeholder text. Just make sure that it is the right font. And there you have it. You have your 3 images. So let's zoom back in. You have your first one. It has the color scheme and the references. The second one, you have your color scheme and references. Your third one has a color scheme and the references. And that is how you complete this assignment. Now, the last thing you will need to do is to send it as a PDF. And to do that, you will need to go to File, and you will need to export this document. Now, be sure to make sure that you export it as a PDF for print right here. And then you just export it. If you want to view it after exporting, that's always great. So just go ahead and export it. And here is your final document. Once you have completed this, you are now ready to upload into the LMS. And that is how you complete this assignment. If you need additional help, please don't hesitate to give me a call, a text message, or an email, and I will gladly help you as soon as possible. Don't go without knowing what to do. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am here to help you. So if you need help, don't hesitate to give me a buzz. Good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of your work. Have a great evening, everyone.